So you're with some friends, and a topic of conversation comes up yet again where not everybody agrees. Are you the kind of person who, when one friend says to the other the same old argument and they start getting into it and it really, really frustrates you, are you the kind of person who, number one, tells them both to be quiet and stop talking about this, let's talk about something else? Or are you the kind of person who just walks away because you've had it like up to here enough already? Or are you the kind of person who, knowing each of these people's character, you're the kind of person who jumps in and makes some really, really shrewd observations because you've invested in these friendships over time, and you make some comments that actually help them to both go into a new direction, a little closer together? Do you have that kind of intelligence? Okay, that is what we're going to be talking about today. So we have looked at the many types of intelligences that we as human beings possess in varying degrees, some stronger in one area than in another. And we've looked at multiple intelligence theory in terms of verbal intelligence, math, music, visual, bodily kinesthetic, and now we're going to look at interpersonal intelligence. This is the capacity to detect and respond appropriately. If we all respond. Do we all respond appropriately to the moods? And can you see below the surface into the motivations and desires of others? This could be someone that, for example, is very close to you, or maybe not so much, but you can just tell. You can just cut through the baloney right to the heart of the matter. And you can help someone perhaps articulate their own views in a way that's helpful for everybody. All right? So the kind of skills that are involved with interpersonal intelligence rather, are seeing from other perspectives, empathy, counseling, cooperating with others. All right? Not to be confused with just smoothing things over and avoiding conflict at all costs. That's not what we're talking about here. Okay? That's called denial, and that can lead to passive aggression. You know what all that leads to. We've got way too much of that in our world. No, what we're talking about is instead of peacekeeping, we could call this peacemaking, right? Where you go into a situation and you intuitively know. You know what each of them wants, and in an argument with friends. But more importantly, you know what they need. And what they need is to be able to articulate their views a little more coherently than they are currently doing, because maybe they're not quite where you are in terms of interpersonal intelligence. Oh, come on, we see this all the time. Every single day, the world is full of evidence that shows a lack of interpersonal intelligence. We struggle with this in our relationships, okay? And in our marriages and in our friendships and with our relationships with our students, okay? Whether we're tutoring or teaching them in school, workplace, job, you name it, in our homes, with our mothers-in-law, whomever, we struggle with interpersonal intelligence, okay? So some careers. For those of us who have maybe really deliberately worked on these skills, or that's how we are predisposed to begin with, all right? Counselor, salesperson, politician, business person, leader in any religious faith, okay? So we can think of, priests, ministers, and, and other leaders in other contexts. These are people, and we all gravitate toward these people because these are people who understand how we think perhaps even better than we do ourselves. Now, we all need to work on interpersonal intelligence, okay? And we can all think of someone. You can think of 3 people right now in the next 5 seconds. You take this to the bank. I guarantee that you have 3 people in your lives who you believe need to work on this. And perhaps one of them is yourself. All right, interpersonal intelligence, let's all work on it. Now, if you are really, really gifted at this and you've really, really recognized the need for you to build on this skill, on this type of intelligence, keep up the good work, because goodness knows we need more of your efforts, your intuitions, okay, and your understandings of the motivations of the rest of us who sometimes can't even articulate what we think or need, because there's so much fluff to plow through, okay? We're having to do with our own views of ourselves and so on. Now, just as importantly, all right, think about some of these other skills that we've unpacked and start to work on those, all right? So, very, very important skill, but not necessarily, there's no hierarchy here, right? This is very important in terms of relationships, but we need these other intelligences as well. And look at some of the other ones, okay? And if this is a strength, fantastic. But it's so important to look at some of these other intelligences and to embrace them and to think, hey, just like a muscle, maybe I need to work a little more on my visual spatial, okay? Maybe I need to really pay a little more attention to math so I can get my home budget on track. And on it goes. Verbal linguistic, we need to articulate, right? And it goes on and on. Bodily intelligence, we all probably need to move a little more than we do. So there we go. See you next time.